Parents give up baby born with no ears or eye sockets. Here's how he looks now. A child is born with horrible physical deformities and is immediately given up for adoption. Nobody would have guessed how this child's life would one day turn out. In the opulent living room of their Miami home, adorned with designer furniture and the latest tech, Michael and Bonnie sat across from each other, each cradling a glass of expensive wine. The topic of discussion was of utmost importance to them, the perfect addition to their perfect lives. "Bonnie, darling," Michael began, swirling his wine with a practiced motion, "when we have our child, you do realize they must fit into our world seamlessly. I can't have anything disrupting the balance of our perfectly curated lives." Bonnie nodded, her perfectly manicured nails tapping against the stem of her glass. "Absolutely, Michael. I've already told the doctor that I won't accept anything less than perfection. Our child will be beautiful, smart, athletic, a reflection of us." Michael raised his glass to her in agreement. "Indeed, our child will attend the best schools, wear the best clothes, and of course inherit our impeccable tastes. Anything less would be unacceptable." The couple's conversation flowed as smoothly as the wine they sipped, their words painting a picture of a future child molded by their own vain expectations. "I've even started looking into genetic screening," Bonnie added. "We can't leave anything to chance. I mean, imagine if our child were to inherit some undesirable trait. What would our friends think?" Michael chuckled, the sound devoid of warmth. "Our friends would be too polite to say anything, but we'd know, Bonnie. We'd see the judgment in their eyes. No, our child will be the epitome of perfection or will not have one at all." Their dialogue, shallow and devoid of genuine warmth, highlighted a concerning detachment from the realities of parenthood. The idea of unconditional love, of accepting a child with all their potential imperfections, seemed foreign to them. "As long as the child looks the part, right?" Bonnie said. "They must fit into our aesthetic, our brand. I won't have a child who sticks out like a sore thumb in our family portraits." "Exactly," Michael agreed, his eyes reflecting the same shallow resolve. "Our child will be a testament to our success, our legacy. Anything less would be a blemish on everything we've built." As their conversation dwindled, the couple remained ensconced in their bubble of superficiality, oblivious to the true joys and challenges of parenthood. Their vision of a perfect child, a designer accessory to complement their lavish lifestyle, overshadowed the deeper, more meaningful aspects of bringing a new life into the world. Now it finally came time. It was the day of delivery and the focus was on naming the child. "I want the child to be named Francis Joel," pouted Bonnie through her contractions. Michael didn't say much except for, "I don't like the name Francis Joel." However, he didn't care enough to keep arguing and Bonnie seemed dead set on the name, so that's what they settled on, Francis Joel Smith. The delivery process was very long and arduous. It took Bonnie over 25 hours to deliver their new baby boy. After such a long time delivering, Bonnie was ready to finally see her child. "Let me see it," she yelled. "Let me see my beautiful baby." Totally expecting to see a picture-perfect baby by all means, a movie star in the making. However, what she hadn't noticed were the very concerned looks on the faces of the doctors. In the background, the doctors were having a conversation of their own. "I've never quite seen a case like this before. The absence of eye sockets and ears is extremely rare," Dr. Ellis said. Dr. Kim replied, "Yeah, it's a condition known as anotia and anophthalmia. It can occur due to various factors including genetic mutations or environmental exposures during pregnancy. But pinpointing the exact cause in this case would require further genetic testing." Agreed. The priority now is how we approach the parents with the news. They're expecting to meet their child and this will be a significant shock. Absolutely. It's crucial that we provide them with support and understanding. They'll need guidance on the next steps, including the medical care and interventions their child might require. Right. We should also prepare to offer them resources for counseling, Dr. Ellis said. This news can be overwhelming and they might not process everything we tell them right away. "I'll make sure to have our social worker join us for the conversation," Dr. Kim replied. "Having someone experienced in dealing with these situations will be beneficial. Let's also compile a list of specialists and support groups that can help them navigate this journey. They need to know they're not alone." "Yes, and we must approach this conversation with sensitivity. It's important to convey that while their child has these challenges, there's still a lot of potential for a fulfilling life." Agreed. Let's prepare ourselves thoroughly. This is going to be one of the toughest parts of our job, but it's our duty to ensure the parents feel supported and informed. "I'll gather the necessary information and contact the social worker. Let's meet back here in 30 minutes to go over our plan before we talk to the parents." "Sounds like a plan. Thank you, Dr. Kim, for your professionalism. Let's do everything we can to help this family." "Mr. and Mrs. Thompson, we understand that this is an incredibly difficult and emotional moment for you. We need to discuss your baby's condition and the care options available." "No need, doctor. We've already made up our minds." "We appreciate your candor," Dr. Kim said, "but we want to ensure you're fully informed about your child's condition and the choices ahead. This will affect both of your lives deeply. Mr. Thompson said, "We know it will, but we can't handle this." Dr. Ellis said, "Let us explain the details. Your baby has a condition known as anotia and anophthalmia, which means he lacks eye sockets and ears. It's a rare condition and we're still learning about it. We have specialists who can provide further assessments and discuss potential treatments." Mrs. Thompson replied, "We've seen enough, doctor. We don't want to put him through that. We want to give him up for adoption." "I understand this is overwhelming," Dr. Kim replied, "but please consider that your child is still your child. There are support networks and resources available to help you navigate this." "No, we can't do it," Mr. Thompson said. "We can't handle it emotionally or financially. We've thought about it, and we want what's best for him. Adoption's the best option." Dr. Ellis said, "I want to emphasize that we're here to support you in whatever decision you make. It's a choice that should be made with a clear understanding of the implications. There's time to think about it." "Doctor, we've thought about it a lot already. We can't provide the life he deserves. We want him to have a chance with a family who can." "Understood, Mrs. Thompson," Dr. Kim replied. "We'll connect you with the adoption services and ensure a smooth transition for your baby." Mr. Thompson thanked the doctors. "We thank you for your understanding. We know this isn't easy for you either." "We're here to support you in the choices you make," Dr. Ellis said. "We'll begin making the necessary arrangements for adoption and ensure your baby finds a loving home." Now, 3 years later, Francis Joel was in a church orphanage and waiting to be adopted. "It breaks my heart, Sister Anne, to see Francis Joel still here after 3 long years," Sister Mary said. "No one seems interested in adopting him." "Yes, Sister Mary, it's disheartening," Sister Anne replied. "People often come here looking for children to adopt, but once they see his condition, they shy away. It's as if his appearance scares them. And they miss the chance to see the sweet soul that he is. He may look different, but his heart is pure." "Absolutely, Sister Mary. He deserves a loving family just like any other child." Meanwhile, Jack and Minnie, a young couple with hearts full of compassion, were visiting the orphanage. "Minnie, we've been blessed with so much, and we've always felt it's our calling to help those in need." "You're right, Jack. Our faith in Jesus teaches us to show love and compassion. Let's see if there's a child here who could use our love." As Jack and Minnie walked through the orphanage, they heard Francis Joel crying. "Minnie, did you hear that? It sounds like a child in distress." "Let's go see, Jack." They found the nuns, Sister Mary and Sister Anne, comforting Francis Joel. "Hello, dear visitors. Can we help you with something?" "We heard the cries and wanted to see if we could be of any help." "This is Francis Joel. He's been with us for 3 years and we've been praying for a loving family to take him in." "Why does he look the way he does?" Minnie asked. "Francis was born with some facial deformities, no eyes or ears. It's why he's had a hard time finding a home." "It doesn't matter how he looks. We believe it's our duty to care for children in need as Jesus taught us." "Yes, we're willing to give him the love and care he deserves." "Bless your hearts," Sister Anne said. "It's rare to find such a selfless and compassionate couple. We'll help with the adoption process." Jack and Minnie's decision to adopt Francis Joel was driven by their deep faith and belief in the teachings of Jesus. They saw beyond his physical appearance, recognizing the need to provide love and a nurturing home for a child in need. As they started the process, they knew that they were about to change Francis Joel's life forever. 10 years had passed since Francis was adopted by his loving parents. He was now 13 years old, but life hadn't been easy for him. His physical deformities had made him a target for bullies, and he endured taunts and cruel words from other kids on a daily basis. Among them was Tommy, a boy who seemed to take particular delight in tormenting Francis. One sunny afternoon after school, as Francis walked home alone, he heard the familiar voice of Tommy and his gang behind him. They began to jeer and mock him for his appearance. "Hey, Francis, did you get hit by a truck or something? You look like a freak," Tommy sneered, earning laughs and nods of approval from his companions. Francis, feeling his eyes well up with tears, tried to keep walking without responding. He knew that arguing or fighting back would only make things worse, but Tommy and his friends persisted. "Look at him, he's probably got a face only a mother could love." Another boy chimed in, and the group burst into laughter. As the laughter continued to echo in Francis's ears, he couldn't help but feel a deep sense of sadness and despair. He finally reached his home, a small but cozy house with his parents eagerly awaiting his return. Upon seeing his fearful face, his parents immediately sensed that something was wrong. His mother Minnie rushed to him and asked, "Francis, sweetheart, what happened? Why are you so upset?" Sniffling, Francis managed to explain what had transpired on his way home. His father, Jack, listened intently, his face stern with concern. After Francis had finished recounting the bullying incident, both of his parents exchanged a knowing look. Minnie gently wiped Francis's tears away and hugged him tightly. "Oh, my dear, I'm so sorry you have to go through this. You're a wonderful and beautiful child both inside and out. Don't ever let those mean kids make you doubt that." Jack nodded in agreement. "Francis, you are precious to us and we love you just the way you are. But we also know that the world can be cruel sometimes. That's why it's important to have faith, not just in us but also God." Francis looked up at his parents, his eyes still glistening with tears. "But how can I have faith when kids are so mean to me?" Minnie smiled softly and replied, "Sometimes faith can help us find strength and purpose in the face of adversity. We believe that God has a plan for everyone. You're no exception. He loves you deeply and you're just as valuable as anyone else." Jack added, "And the Bible can be a great source of guidance and comfort during tough times. Would you like to read it with us, Francis?" With a hopeful glimmer in his eyes, Francis nodded eagerly. "I'd like that, yeah." Over the next few months, Francis delved into the Bible with his parents. They read stories of courage, faith, and perseverance which deeply resonated with him. The tales of individuals facing challenges and finding strength in their faith inspired Francis to reevaluate his own life. One evening, after a particularly moving story about David and Goliath, Francis turned to his parents and said, "I understand now, Mom and Dad. The Lord loves me just as he loved David. I believe that with his help I can overcome anything." Minnie and Jack exchanged proud smiles. "That's the spirit, Francis. God has given you a purpose and you have the potential to do great things," Jack said warmly. With newfound determination, Francis decided that he would make something of his life. He began to excel in his studies, aspiring to become a doctor one day. He spent hours in the library, absorbing knowledge and wisdom from books, both medical and spiritual. He applied the morals and lessons he had learned from the Bible to his daily life, striving to be a kind and compassionate person. As Francis grew older, his faith continued to strengthen. He regularly attended church with his parents, finding solace and guidance in the teachings of the Bible. He also started volunteering at a local charity, helping those in need and spreading the message of love and compassion. One evening, he sat down with his adoptive parents and said, "I can feel the Lord's love in my heart, Mom and Dad. I know now that I'm just as valuable as anyone else, no matter what others may say or think. I want to use my life to help others, just like the Bible teaches us." Minnie and Jack exchanged a look of immense pride. "Francis," Minnie said with tears in her eyes, "you have grown into such a remarkable young man. We're blessed to have you as our son." With their unwavering support and the strength of his faith, Francis continued his journey through life, knowing that he could overcome any obstacle in his path. As he pursued his dream of becoming a doctor, he held on to the belief that God's love and guidance would always be by his side, helping him fulfill his purpose and making a positive impact on the world. 17 years had passed since Francis was 13 years old and had made the decision to become a doctor. He had persevered through numerous challenges and had just completed his medical residency. Now, at 30 years old, he was officially known as Dr. Francis Joel Smith. One sunny afternoon, Francis stood in the hallway of the hospital where he trained for so many years. His heart was filled with a mixture of pride, gratitude, and a hint of nervousness as he prepared to meet with his favorite professor and mentor, Dr. Jonathan Green. Professor Green had been a guiding light throughout his medical journey, offering unwavering support and guidance. As Francis entered Professor Green's office, he was greeted with a warm smile and a firm handshake. The office was filled with shelves of medical textbooks, framed diplomas, and various accolades that attested to the professor's accomplished career. "Dr. Smith, it's an honor to have you here," Professor Green said, gesturing for Francis to take a seat. "Congratulations on completing your residency and becoming a doctor. I always knew you had it in you." Francis blushed slightly at the praise. "Thank you, Professor Green. Your guidance and support have meant the world to me throughout this journey. I couldn't have done it without you." Professor Green nodded appreciatively. "It's been a pleasure to watch you grow into the remarkable physician you are today. Your resilience and dedication are truly remarkable. You faced adversity head-on and never let it deter you from your path." With a humble smile, Francis replied, "I learned a lot about resilience from you, Professor. Your own experiences and the stories you've shared have inspired me greatly." Professor Green leaned forward, his eyes filled with pride. "Francis, I want you to remember that there will always be tough times in medicine. It's a demanding field and you'll encounter challenges that'll test your patience and determination. But you should be very proud of what you've achieved so far." Francis nodded, absorbing his mentor's wisdom. "I will, Professor, and I promise to carry your lessons with me as I move forward in my career." Their conversation shifted, and Francis couldn't help but express his gratitude for the support he had received from his adoptive parents. "Professor Green, I want you to know that I owe so much of my success to my loving adoptive family. They never let me forget how valuable I am, and they've been with me every step of the way." The professor nodded understandingly. "Family is a crucial source of strength, and it's clear that your parents played a significant role in shaping who you are today. Your journey is a testament to their love and your own unwavering determination." Francis continued, "And I must also mention the role of faith in my life. Through all the hardships and challenges, I've held on to my faith in God. It's been a source of solace and guidance, helping me find purpose in the face of adversity." Professor Green smiled warmly. "Faith can be a powerful force indeed. It can provide the inner strength and resolve to overcome obstacles and continue moving forward, even when the path seems uncertain. I'm glad to hear that it has been a source of support for you." As their conversation drew to a close, Professor Green shook Francis's hand once more. "Dr. Smith, I have no doubt that you will continue to make a profound impact on the medical field. Remember that you have the skills, the heart, and the faith to navigate whatever challenges come your way. I'm proud to have been a part of your journey." If stories of grit and determination are what keep you going, then subscribe and come back for many more such inspirational stories.